And I believe we are now live.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, so this is really exciting. I'm so pleased that you're on live talking to us today, Wendy, because I know that you've got a wealth of experience and information that needs to get out there in the world and be shared. So I'm really So start off by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so good morning and thanks for having me, Hannah. So my name is Wendy Watson, for those of you who don't know me, and I am a reflexologist, a foot reader. I am a Reiki Master, shamanic healer. In fact, I wear quite a few hats, or I have many branches, but I'm coming from the same tree, really. And I'm based in Sandwich and work from my space. I have two spaces, so I'm very privileged. I have a treatment room in my home, and I also have a separate space called the Sage Room. And in that space, I open that up for teaching. So I run drum circles and all sorts of things going on there. I have other teachers coming as well. So it's not just all about me. It's a space for community.
It's a lovely space as well. I've been in it. It's lovely for an amazing drum circle. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. How did you start on your journey? Did you feel that there was a calling, or how did you get to where you are today?
So firstly, this goes right back to childhood. So I was brought up in South Africa, and my first beginning of understanding of all of this goes back to about the age of 4 till 6, before we started school. My mom would send us up into the hills, or the koppies as we call it, and she'd say to me, okay, come back when the sun gets to a certain point. And I used to meet up with a Sangoma, or a traditional shaman or healer, and we didn't speak the same language, but we just connected heart to heart, I guess. And I would help her gather the herbs, and she had this huge big stone, and we would grind the herbs together and all that kind of thing. And I'd really forgotten that until later on, but and I'll maybe come to that a bit later, but that was my beginning, really. And then I started doing reflexology. I sort of fell into it. I was pregnant and bored. I was sitting at home, and so I wanted to keep my mind occupied, and that was the only course that was available and something that I was interested in, and off I went. And I just wish I'd done it sooner. I've never looked back. So that was nearly 19 years ago now. And it's just a continuous journey of learning and expanding, and realizing, actually, I know nothing. I'm only scratching the surface. It's amazing.
It's definitely that, definitely. Oh, that's fantastic. And I love how spirit got you where they needed you to be without you even being conscious of it. They just, here, have a try course. Do this.
Yeah,
love it. So tell us the story of the most profound experience that you've had. I'm sure you've had many.
Yeah, so as you say, working with spirit, there's many aha zoom moments, like this light up moment, and this excitement that fills you. And I carry that with me always. Each awakening or moment sits with you and just helps you to be smiley and happy all the time, giggly, because it's just amazing energy. So but the main aha moment, if you like, in my life was probably maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. Before that, I trained as a reflexologist, but and spirit were trying to talk to me, but I was like, no, I'm clinically trained. I'm not going with all this woo-woo stuff. And anyway, I was at the London Body, Mind and Soul Fair about 8 or 9 years ago, and I heard the African drum and the call of home. And so I gravitated towards the sound. And as I was coming closer, I heard like a bird call, like a whistle, whooshing through me, and realized it was spirit. And I just stood in the middle of this hall overwhelmed with this love and support, and I just stood crying and just like, oh, I'm home to my heart and who I am, and this is my path, this is who I need to be and who I've always been in this life, in many lives. And it was just such an amazing moment, and it's with me all the time now. No matter what I'm doing, I know that I'm supported and I'm loved, and I'm here to share that.
Wow, I love that story. I love it. And you do share that. I can, I've worked with you, I've been to your groups and things, and you are completely that conduit for that. It's amazing. So how, obviously you've talked a little bit about it there, but how has your work progressed?
Okay. So as I say, I kind of started officially about nearly 19 years ago, training as a reflexologist. And I went down the clinical route and wanted the theory and the science behind that. So I am quite an analytical mind, and I've had to learn to get my head out the way quite often. So that's where it kind of all started. And then, it's interesting how your journey takes you, because I just thought, I need to know more. I'm so fascinated with this. And as I was working on clients and their experiences, I said, I need to know more. This is amazing results. So I did a load of CPD training. And as a result, some of them were a weekend course, some of them were 2-year courses. So I've done a lot of work on reflexology in that little house, if you like. So I do maternity and labour, I do fertility, I do pain management, cancer and palliative care, special educational needs, hot stone reflexology, universal metamorphic reflexology. So loads of different types of reflexology, but they're all reflexology, and amazing results, and I absolutely love it and I buzz with it. But then, as I say, that 8-9 years ago, when I was at the London Body Mind Soul Fair, that shamanic call came to me, and that's when I started training. So, and remembering, actually, you as a child, you were with that Sangoma, and I'd forgotten about those experiences because of fear, because of society's image of shaman. And at that time, growing up in South Africa, the shaman was mostly a black person, and so it was like, oh, you can't hang out with these black people, it's dangerous, and all this other stuff. So how we've moved on in society and our way of thinking. So but that's how it really all started. And then realizing, actually, the African energy is my birthplace, is where we're all from, but I live in this land, and so the energies, the plants, the animals are different, and so I needed to learn to connect with that, and then started to look at the Celtic way in which the Celtic shamans work, and that sat with me. So whilst I embrace all the traditions around the world, Native American, the Incas, the South Africans, Sangomas, great, but I live here and I work with these energies and these ancestors and of the land.
Amazing. Honestly, I just forgot I was doing the interview then. I'm so involved in what you're saying. I'm zoning out. I love it.
I can go on forever.
It's good. Carry on. So if somebody booked with you for a reflexology treatment, they don't necessarily need to know. I mean, obviously, if you need palliative care, if you need pain relief, but I'm assuming that you can just tap into a bespoke treatment with all of those amazing things that you offer, and meet the client's needs intuitively almost.
Absolutely. Yeah. You've got to work intuitively. Yes, I do Indian head massage and Reiki and all of these other things, but I've come to a point in my life, probably the last maybe 5 years, of it's all about fusion and mixing and matching, and it's like baking a cake. It's not that specific, actually. It's just fusing, whatever ingredients you've got and what you need to work with. This is my toolkit, And sometimes, you might not have come for a shamanic treatment. Some people might be a little bit scared when I get my drum out and start banging a drum, and they're thinking, what are you doing? But generally, most people are quite open to it. And if that's what I feel needs to happen, then that's what I use. So, and it's the same as when you use herbs to open up a space. I don't necessarily always use sage. I might be drawn to use something else. So, as you say, working intuitively.
Yeah, amazing. So if someone wanted to book with you, they don't necessarily need to know what they want. They could just say, Wendy, I need healing. And you will be able to give them exactly what they need, because you've got all of these skills and all of that knowledge that you can draw on.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Amazing. Yeah. I love it. Okay, great. So here's a hard one for you, because I can tell how passionate you are. What's your favourite part of your work?
I love everything that I do, but I think my work is about being of service. So it's not actually about me. And it's about what the client gets. And so for me, my favorite bit really is seeing them grow and blossom and come to me. Maybe you have low self-esteem, for example, and people might come, quite shy and hunched over. And by the end of the treatment, they're really open and shiny, and you see them on their journey. And just how it opens doors for people into themselves, and helping them to remember who they are and to speak their truth and be okay with all their colors.
Okay, if you could go back in time to when you first started, what advice would you give yourself?
Trust yourself. Trust the energy, the universal energy. Get your head out the way and let go much quicker. Don't hang on to stuff, because it just stops you, Stop self-sabotaging. That's the main thing. Sabotage. We all do it. I teach you how not to do it, but we all kind of go there and that self-doubt and stuff. And it's good to question, but it's also good to get your head out the way at times and be in the flow and allow it to happen, because then you don't waste time. We're only here for a short space of time. So we know our purpose, before we're even born. We know that. And so we're just here to fulfill it. So get out the way and do it.
Oh, I hear you. If you ever work out a special way of just doing that, let me know, because I really need to, because it's something I think that people struggle with. And it's not just once. That is a repeating thing that you go through, is layers of how you're holding yourself back again and again and again. Yeah. You think you're surrendering. You're not at all.
Yeah. And we just keep, it's a constant, as you say, it's a cycle. We're like an onion, aren't we? And we just keep going through the layers until we get to the core self, and then whoosh.
Excellent. So with all of this energy, information, knowledge and excitement that's coming through you, what's next for you?
So loads going on, lots of projects. Lockdown, I think, has helped everybody be in a creative flow. Mm-hmm. And really coming back to themselves, back to nature, and just having that time to be. And so, I've been doing lots of things and lots of creative stuff. But the main thing that I'm working on at the moment is something called distance reflexology. And some people are calling it virtual reflexology, vibrational reflexology, or one and the same. So it is what it says on the tin. It's a treatment whereby we are offering reflexology, but from a distance. So we can still be with our clients and still do the things that we love and share our passion. But as I say, I'll be in a different room. So I can be in a different continent and send you that reflexology. So for those of you who know Reiki, it's very similar, but we're not using Reiki symbols or anything. We are literally just doing like air reflexology, as my daughter calls it, and sending that energy of reflexology, because we understand the feet. And that's how I came to this about 5 or 6 years ago. or maybe longer, I can't remember. But during my shamanic training, one of the exercises we needed to do was send distant healing. And so we went on this journey, you know about drum journeying, and into the tree I go, down to the bottom, and I'm sitting in this room-like space, waiting for my guides to turn up, as they generally do, and there was just nothing, just complete darkness. And I'm sitting there thinking, come on, what's going on? And I started to panic, thinking, I'm going to be the only one sat here, what's going to, you know, and anyway, so suddenly I just stood, I've got my head out the way into my heart. Suddenly this pair of feet were in front of me. And I instantly knew this is the client, and realized, the feet are your doorway, Wendy. The feet are always known as the windows to the soul, soul to soul. And so the feet are your doorway. And as they touch the earth, they are your gateway to the earth, to the ancestors. And as a healer, Wendy, this is your door, this is your tarot card, this is your medium way in which to connect. And so that's what I did. And then I wanted to check that the shamanic work that I'd done had happened, and I went back onto the feet and did some reflexology to make sure that what I'd done had actually worked, because I knew that modality so well. And that's what we're sharing, and created a group, and it's just going absolutely crazy and out there, and it's very exciting, and it's so amazing. Everybody's so open to it, whereas 5 years ago they all thought I was nuts. And now we all, I don't know, drinking different water or something, but it's something's happening, and we're all in the same language. So that's the current project, if you like. And then also I'm rebranding. So I've had First Feet Reflexology as my business for a long, long time. But as I'm so much more than that, and I've grown in time, I've never really changed that and just sat with it. So I'm just going to be me, Wendy Watson. And so you'll be seeing lots of changes on Facebook and all my platforms.
Good. So I always think, because Spirit made me do that, because I had a page that was reading some Reiki, and now I'm Hannah Macintyre, and I think it's a power stepping in thing, because you're so much more than a box that you've put yourself into. So you know that big things are coming when they make you do that. Excellent. So I'm assuming, therefore, that people can book with you for distant reflexology if they would like some healing and give it a go. Is that right?
Absolutely. So contact me on Facebook, or you can give me a ring, and I'll book a time and a space with you, and allow you to go onto your sofa or your bedroom and quiet space time for yourself, and I will send you some distant reflexology. And it would be like you were sitting on my treatment couch and we were face to face. So, and as we can't be together at this time, and all the social distancing and all of that, until I believe the 7th of July, we've been given a semi-green light. So I'm taking bookings face-to-face as of the 7th of July. But for now, I can still be with you. I can still give you reflexology, or indeed shamanic, or any other healing that you might wish to receive.
Amazing. And it's a funny time, isn't it, being a healer, because the healing's so needed, because the world's in trauma and drama and fear, and so more people need healing than ever before, but then they can't access us. So what you're offering here is a fantastic way of just helping with that. I love it. Okay, I've got to remember, I've got to ask questions. I'm so involved in what you're saying. Who's interviewing? How has your work changed your life?
I think, that's a good one. How has it changed my life? I feel that it's made me realize who I am. It's helped me to step into my power without fear. And part of my life purpose is to be of service. And I can only do that through going through the pain, so that I can then relate and understand my clients, really, or the people that I'm here to serve. and the earth that I'm here to serve. So, and I think in South Africa, the Sangoma call it and my pronunciation is probably very incorrect, but the Twaza, and that's the healer's sickness. So, yeah, there's been many times of hardship, emotional, physical pain. And I now realize that's all to do with who I am and being able to share that with others. And that makes it really exciting.
I'm so glad to hear you talk about that so openly, because that's a big passion of mine, is that people understand that the spiritual path is not fluffy and gentle and comfy and I'm ascending. It's in the grit, it's in the reality, it's in the suffering, it's in the pain. So, and I don't think people talk about that.
No. And we must, because how else are you supposed to walk through it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people, I think, when they start feeling the pain, they think that's a sign that it's time to stop. And it's actually the sign to dig deep, find the courage, push through, soldier on. And they go, oh no, if spirit wanted me to do this, they'd have made it comfy. And you're like, no.
It is a hard and sometimes lonely path. I have a lot of people around me, a lot of community, a lot of support in spirit, but it can be pretty lonely at times. And it takes time to get used to that, I think. You know, I look at my daughter, she's young, and I can see her path as a healer as well. But she's a teenager, so she's really conflicted and needing that, lots of company and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas when you get to my age, you think, oh, well, that's all right then. I can cope with it. I can sit in pain. I can sit on my own. It's okay.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Okay. What is something that you wish that everybody knew about your work?
That it's accessible to everyone. And yeah, it's not woo-woo. It's not strange. You have to feel it to believe it and to understand it. And I would say just be open-minded. That's the main thing. Just be open-minded. What have you got to lose? How many people have come, say, for migraine, for example, who have tried for years and years of medication, who have had all sorts of experiences. They've even lost their job because they suffer so badly. So why wouldn't you take the offer of, say, a reflexology treatment to help you overcome that issue?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe to understand the emotional aspect of that as well, not just the physical. And in my experience, and I'm not saying I cure people or any of that, but most people no longer need to, they have a couple of treatments. It changes the way in which they experience life. It may change the pain, the way it works. And they've gone back to work and the headaches are not bothering them anymore. So I would say go for it. No.
Excellent. So transformative. Okay. So how did you decide on your chosen field? Now, I know you've got several fields, but how did you choose those rather than other aspects of spirituality? Or did they choose you?
Yeah, I think definitely they chose me. And I think particularly when I first started, I was very scientific. As I say, my childhood, I started off being quite spiritual, healing people. I didn't even realize that that's what it was called. I would just walk past a person or a dog or a space or tree, and I would feel what they were feeling and their pain, and I would want to take it away. And that's what I would do, and without even thinking about it. And I think as I got older, I pushed away from that, saying, no, I'm going to be more clinical, and this is the way I'm going to do it. And I think Spirit had been very patient with me. So, okay, step by step, we'll do this. And I think that's really why. And I think it's not just me who feels like that. Many, many people who land up on my couch are quite cynical. They are much more clinical in their approach. And so I quite like that balance between being very real, being very scientific. We can prove reflexology. I can't always prove the energy side of stuff, although science is catching up with us, and that's very exciting now that we're like, woo, we've been telling you this for millennia. Hello. So it's exciting, but equally, some people just need to take it a bit slower, and so that's why I love the spectrum and the fusion. And the way in which I can work, because I can offer a tailor-made package to you and your belief system.
Yeah, fantastic. And therefore the best healing available to somebody, because it's not just here's your box, you've got to work with that, but here's all of this stuff, now try it. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have drawn to an end. That's all of my questions, Wendy. But I have to say, I've loved talking to you. My face is hurting from smiling so much, because I think I've just beamed my entire way through that because of your energy. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're watching this and you want to find out a little bit more about Wendy's offerings, about being healed by Wendy, then drop her a message and she'll get back to you.
For sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Lovely. Take care. Bye.
Bye.